Hello and welcome to the Archie Luxury program. Today I want to look at the varying models of classic Royal Oak Audemars Piguet pieces, and I want to look at the classic two-hand, three-hand pieces which are automatic with the date. And firstly, all the Royal Oak models, the letters at the end of the model number refer to the metal it's made of, and the numbers refer to the model itself. On the screen here we've got a 15202. Now the 15202 is the modern interpretation of the classic Royal Oak Jumbo, and it traces its roots back to that original piece which was released in 1972, which is the classic Royal Oak Jumbo, and it shares the same movement, which is the 21-21 based movement, and it has a case size of 39 mils. And the 15202 is a very classic piece, and it's considered the true modern interpretation of that original Royal Oak Jumbo piece there. The original piece itself that Royal Oak was released as was based on the same Jaeger-LeCoultre movement. A modern piece is the 14790, and this is a piece which is a 36 mil, so a smidgen smaller than the classic Jumbo, 36 mil, and it uses caliber 22-25, which is also a Jaeger-LeCoultre based movement. The 14790, it's a classic piece, and it's actually been discontinued for the 15300. But the 14790 is a great looking piece, and it's really one of the modern classics. And in many ways, there Jaeger-LeCoultre I think was crazy to kill this model off, but they have released another piece now which is a 37 mil piece, so it's certainly it's not all sad if you want a slightly smaller piece there. The wonderful thing about the 14790 is that it has that beautiful seconds hand, and it's a very functional piece. It doesn't have the display back, but it's very much a classic Royal Oak, and compared to the quartz version, which was 33 mils, it's probably the perfect size for a classic interpretation of the Royal Oak. And they're a fantastic piece. They also have a military dial, which is slightly rarer and commands a slightly bigger premium. And the military dial itself there, although it is scarcer, it certainly is not impossible to obtain. So it's a fantastic interpretation of the 14790. The piece that has actually replaced the 14790 is the 15300, and this piece itself is a larger interpretation of the 14790. It grows in size slightly, and it has the slightly larger case size, which is 39 mils, and it uses the AP 3120, which is an in-house AP movement. And the 1530 is really, it's often compared to the more classic 15202, and the most obvious feature difference is that the 15300 has the second hand, whereas the 15202 does not have a second hand, and that's probably the most obvious way to tell the difference there. As far as the 15300 goes, it's basically a slightly larger version aesthetically of the 14790. And it's probably one of the best looking Royal Oaks around. It's got the most beautiful display back with this solid gold rotor on the back, and it's just a stunning classic piece there, and it's what really makes the Royal Oak such a gorgeous piece. And I really adore the 15300, and it does command a bigger premium than the 14790, but you can see why. It's got that gorgeous display back on it, and it's very much a gorgeous piece with many of the hallmarks of the Royal Oak itself there, with that beautiful waffle type dial, the beautiful bracelet. It's just a very much a classic Royal Oak piece to behold and to have, and especially with that gold rotor on the back there with the carvings in it. It's you can see why this is such a premium piece. And the 15300 itself there is often compared to the 15202 and the original interpretation, which was the 5402. But the 15300 is sort of taking its own course because it does have that in-house movement, whereas the original Royal Oak had the Jaeger-LeCoultre modified movement. And there are a few slight differences between the two there. The 15300 also has a screw-in crown, which is very useful. The 15202 doesn't. The 15300, as I've mentioned, uses the 3120 movement, whereas the 15202 uses the 2121 Jaeger-LeCoultre based movement. The 15300 also has the second hand, whereas the 15202 doesn't have the second hand. The 15300 is slightly thicker than the 15202, and the 15300 has a more up-to-date bracelet and clasp. And with that said, in the secondary market there, the 15202 is considered more collectible, but how could you say any of these Royal Oaks are certainly not collectible pieces? And they're very much a big watch. Here you can see a comparison with a Rolex sports watch, and the 15300 also came in two-tone and solid gold, and it's quite interesting that Royal Oak has dropped the two-tone line, and I suppose that's just how fashions change there. The 15300 has been, however, replaced by the slightly larger 15400, and it's a 41mm piece, which compares to the original jumbo at 39 and the 15300 at 39mm. So the 15400 is bigger again, and it's basically a larger interpretation of the 15300. I'm Archie Luxury, and I hope you've enjoyed this special on some classic Royal Oak pieces. Please let me know what you think of this video here, and please let me know what you think of the video without swearing and other profanities. I'm Archie Luxury, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment. See you later.